Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with the next champion entering Mcoc. We got the Destroyer. Now this dude, the character model on this guy, the animations are so freaking cool, man. The kit's pretty cool too, the champion's cool too. This is one of those characters that I've always wanted in the game, you know, big bad Thor character. But I never thought he'd be in the game because he's a giant suit of armor that's enchanted and magical and all this fun stuff. So super duper cool to have the freaking Destroyer in the game. Y'all know me, I love a nice Asgard month. Alright, we're gonna jump in today talking about the Destroyer. So, he has a lot of immunities. He is immune to armor break, poison, bleed, immune to slow as well, right? He's not a robot, but he doesn't gain willpower or salve, so he has like the robot thing going on. Makes sense. The Destroyer is a killing machine devoid of emotions. It's immune to infuriate and intimidate. Okay, so you can't fight this guy with Mantis, really. Keep that in mind. Now, this is really cool. This is a very unique ability that he has. All attacks destroy any indestructible and immortality buffs on the opponent, replacing them with a rubble that lasts for 15 seconds. Now, that is very, very specifically called rubble. So when you're fighting Hulkling, for example, you will not nullify that buff. You will not give him a passive indestructible. You will destroy it. He is such a good Hulkling counter, because look at the next one. When the opponent gains a buff while attacking the Destroyer's block, destroy one of the newest buffs. Replace it with rubble. Now, he also benefits highly when there are buffs on the opponent, right? When you're putting new buffs on the opponent, all right? So the more buffs they have, the faster you'll ramp, the more protection you'll have. These rubble buffs count towards that. So yeah, the high buff matchups, especially where they go indestructible and stuff, really solid stuff. All right, magically enchanted armor. The Destroyer is passively unstoppable while dashing forward. He's kind of like Rhino if Rhino didn't suck. Buff Rhino, you know? So yeah, this guy is probably going to be a real pain in the ass on like ebb and flow intercept and stuff like that, because the only way to remove the unstoppable is hitting him while he's unstoppable, and he goes on cooldown for 15 seconds, which is like really annoying, you know, because you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. But yeah. Also, while the opponent has an active buff, he gains a protection passive, reducing damage taken by 5% for each buff, up to 25%. With the Sig ability, this can go up to 50%. Alright, now, destruction charges. The Destroyer has destruction charges. Of course he does, right? It's all thematic. These max out at 100, and you gain 2 charges whenever you're immune to armor break, or when the opponent gains a buff, or fails to gain a buff due to buff immunity, okay? Now, you gain 5 destruction charges when you intercept or punish a heavy or special. This is where you're going to be gaining most of your charges from. You also gain 30 charges from using your special 1. So between the intercept and the countering of the heavy and special, using your special 1, and whatever buffs are naturally on the opponent via node or base kit, you're going to be ramping him in those ways, okay? Now, obviously, he's going to ramp faster in those target matchups with lots of buffs, but because of the intercept and heavy claws, you can go ahead and use him in almost any matchup, okay? Now, you lose 1 charge when inflicted with a non-damaging debuff other than stun, so those science champions are going to have fun, and every 25 charges, you gain a Fury passive for 20 seconds. These refresh on special attacks and knocking them down with heavy attacks, maxed out at 4 stacks, okay? So once you ramp them up, you can kind of keep them up for forever as long as you keep knocking the opponent down, all right? When you reach 100 charges, you consume the charges, you keep the Furies, but you gain a power gain passive, granting 4 bars of power over 10 seconds, okay? So you can do double special 2, you could do special 3 into special 2, all that fun stuff. So many possibilities, okay? The special 1, each hit grants 10 destruction charges on hit, block, or riff, okay? As a defender, 15 instead. So, he's an interesting defender, man, because on like the surface level, it seems like he doesn't have too much, but if he uses 3 special 1s, or if you dex a few times, he uses 2 special 1s, he's going to be shooting up to a special 3 with that power gain. So I feel like he's going to be situationally very annoying on defense. We'll have to see. The final hit of the special 1 is passively unblockable, and it inflicts a hinder debuff of 75% potency. If you're against the wall, all hits are unblockable. Hinder reduces the potency of new buffs by 75%. It's kind of like an ineptitude that like Dragon Man has in a way. But yeah, it's pretty darn powerful, to be entirely honest. 75% is pretty potent, and you combine that with up to 50% protection. And this is against like buffs, so you're already gonna have those protection from the buffs. So he's pretty tanky, man. Now the special 2, final hit pauses any. Let's do the special 3 first, because it's just that's how it goes. Okay, special 3, inflict a degen passive, dealing some damage over some seconds. You also gain a non-stacking energized passive of 33% potency for 10 seconds, which is paused during your special attacks. While this passive is active, you can't use his special 3 again. Okay. Also, his other special attacks don't grant power to the opponent, and you gain unblockable for 6 seconds. Now the special 2. The first hit pauses any degen effects for 10 seconds. The destroyer is also passively unblockable for the end of the special 2, and the final hit deals a burst of direct damage, but its potency is increased by 200% against an opponent suffering from degen. Not just the special 3 degen, any degen. So if you're doing incursions with this guy, right, and they're the degen hack, you can go ahead and get the degen from like doing heavy attacks, and then use special 2, and then do like a ridiculous amount of damage. So yeah, this dude is super duper fun. He's really cool. I'm gonna show you some gameplay now. I actually didn't load the videos in because I'm a doofus, so I'm gonna do that now, and I have to cut the whole thing. So 1 second. So let's jump in today. We're gonna beat up on this Drax. It's about 220,000 health Drax, right? So this is like a generic cosmic opponent in battlegrounds or war, right? Like a path fight. I'm just going to show you how to play him really here. This is not going to be like a great indication of where you're going to be using the destroyer, okay? So as you can see, I'm intercepting a lot. I'm countering his special 1, countering his heavy, pushing him above a bar, right? The more power, the better, because you could just bait the specials and gain the charges here. I'm going to go for the special 1 to refresh the Furies and also gain 30 charges, man. And now we're at 82. We're very close to that 100 mark we want to get to, okay? And look, 94. Here we go. Bam, 99, and 100. Now, the power gain is going to take us up to 3 bars of power, okay? Well, okay, yeah, this was a short fight. I forgot. So, if you're doing, like, battleground stuff with him, right, you're probably going to want to go for that type of rotation, where right here with the power gain, you go for the special 2, and naturally, look at the power, right? You would have been back at, like, 2.5 bars of power, use another special 2. So, if this one didn't kill, you would have another, like, 60k in the chamber there, just from this one rotation. That would be about 275,000 damage right there, which is really not too bad, you know? Very, very nice. But he really goes off in those longer fights here, because look, let's say this Drax here has 700,000 health. What we're going to do after we ramp up, right, we're not going to go for the special 2s right away. What we're going to do is we're going to wait a second, right? We're going to go for the special 3. Now, why are we going for the special 3? Because it's got the degen. Now, why do we want the degen? Because the degen is going to make it possible to go like this. Boom, special 2. 100k bursts, right? And as long as that degen is there, that burst is going to stay consistent very, very high, right? And yeah, that's pretty darn nice, man. It's pretty darn nice. And you can also like throw the special 3 or get to the 100 charges when you're already like at or near a special 3, so you can really just like get 3 or 4 of those special 2s off, which is a lot of damage in a short period of time. In fact, here we have a 500,000 health Weapon X we're gonna look at, because like, you know, we're not just gonna look at Drax, we're gonna see like what else he can do, you know? So here's Weapon X, right? Definitely a very calm and painful defender, no doubt about that, right? One thing that's nice about Weapon X is that when he goes berserk, he actually gets a little aggressive, right? So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take advantage of that aggressive AI, and we're gonna intercept a lot, right? Any AI who's super duper aggressive, the destroyer is gonna have a fun time with, because he's gonna be able to build those charges very easily, okay? So here we're going for that special 1, up to 80 charges already. We're gonna have to just counter 4 more specials or intercept now 3 more times, and check it out. Bam! We got the 3 bars of power. He's got low power, which is fantastic. We're going to throw the special 3. We're at a full yellow bar still, and so is Weapon X, really. Now, the Energize and the Unblockable allows us to go right back in. No power gain to him during the special 2, as you could see, and that was a nice big old burst. And we're going to go for another one right over here. I feel like we missed the burst behind all the words. But also, the damage and the yellow numbers were like, look, that's 32k, another 32k, let's call it 64k, And then where's the burst? 86k. So yeah, that was about like 140k on the special 2 times in a row. Really not bad at all, you know? Now I feel like at this point, by the way, I'm just like kind of thinking right now that at this point, it might be smarter to, after the first special 2, instead of throwing the next special 2 right away like I did, take advantage of the pause and build up to like just under 3 bars of power, I would say. That way you can get back to another special 2 and kind of chain those special 2s while the degen and the pause are there. I messed up, but he went unstoppable, but that's totally okay. As you can see, once you get those Furies, he does pretty well. Now let's take a look at some of that utility, man. Hulkling. He's so good versus Hulkling for so many reasons. So look, no Pierce buff whatsoever. Also, our protection is absolutely incredible here, because look at this. Look, we have like pretty much 50% protection at all times against Hulkling. Look, we destroyed his indestructible, man. That is some good stuff right there. And look, the Fury, 75% reduced potency because of that hinder. You know, really good Hulkling counter, like really good. Gallon, the one thing I want to show with Gallon is that protection is very potent, right? So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna bait the special 1, and we're actually going to just get hit and allow him to do harvest. Okay, so look, he's hitting us. We have 50% protection. That protection is really good across the board. Come on, throw the special 1, buddy. Come on, please. You're embarrassing me, Gallon. Come on, dude. There we go. Watch. Now, this would usually do like so much damage. Not too much. Not too much, man. That protection is pretty darn strong. It's kind of like Thing's protection in a way, not as potent. I'm realizing now we didn't go over the Sig ability. The Sig ability is nice to have, man. It's also like not super duper necessary, but it's nice to have. The Destroyer's personal power gain pauses while at 3 bars of power, and while the power gain is active, special attack 3 damage is increased by up to 50%, which is nice. Actually, that's a decent bit of damage. The protection passive goes up by 5% per buff, and also, defensively, when struck, inflict an instant rupture, dealing 40% of the damage prevented by personal protection as physical damage, to a max of 1950 damage. So, this is like kind of avoidable if you don't have buffs, but if you do have buffs, it can kind of be like an Atuma thing going on, or a Korg thing going on, or a Killmonger thing going on. Got those thorns, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to show you some more matchups and like more ideal fights. So I'm gonna go ahead and show like the little deep dive rotation I made right here. Check it out.
To begin, focus on building your destruction charges by intercepting the opponent and punishing their heavy and special attacks. You'll also gain charges whenever the opponent gains a buff. You could use your special 1 to gain even more charges and refresh your Furies by knocking down the opponent. And once you reach 100 charges, you'll gain a power gain passive, granting you 4 bars of power. From here, use your special 3 to inflict your degen passive, then let your power gain continue and launch a monstrous special 2. And if the opponent isn't already knocked out, take advantage of your energize passive to do it again until they are. Now, in a shorter fight, build your charges in the same way. And don't forget, you can destroy any indestructible buffs on the opponent and turn them into rubble. So just keep this rolling until you reach 100 charges. But this time, just launch your special 2 before reaching special 3. And remember, the final 3 hits are unblockable, so don't be afraid to let it rip.
Wasn't that beautiful? It was so nice, right? Okay, that's the Destroyer, dude. I really like this guy a lot. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's going to be a pretty solid two-way champion, situationally annoying on defense, solid on attack. I think he's going to be really great for like Alliance War type stuff, especially with this current Alliance War tactic. He does get the Saga tag, so if you like him, you can use you know, the Magic Heist rank up gems on him, or Sig Stones if you like him, stuff like that. But yeah, Destroyer, man. And Asgard month is always a good month, in my opinion. That's it for this one. Let me know what you think about this guy in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more coming to you in the future. And I'll be seeing you around.